Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advanced. And this game is from game 3 of Magnus versus Hikaru match. And let me tell you, this game is one insane game because Magnus is up a point, he won the game 1, and Hikaru has to show some magic with the black pieces to win against Magnus because, well, it's going to be insanely difficult to win against Magnus with the white pieces. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Magnus starts with d4, we have knight to f6, c4, and g6. Just going for the King's Indian defense, that is the favorite opening of Hikaru from his childhood. And we have this knight to c3, but just going for bishop to g7, and we have e4 but just d6, and here knight to f3 castles, and here just hc, and we have immediately striking in the center e5, and we have this d5 just advance, this going for the advanced variation, and we have a5 bishop to e3, and just going for this knight to a6, and we have g4 just pushing those pawns and asking Hikaru, what are you going to do about those pawns? Because I'm just going to start pushing and start attacking. And here we have knight to d7 by Hikaru going for this knight to c5. It will be a really strong knight from there, and you can see that we just rook to d1, just trying to push those pawns, putting an extra defender on that pawn because you're going to be able to push it. And here just knight d to c5 as planned. We have a3, but just here going for bishop to d7, queen to c2, and this king to h8. Just a nice prophylactic move. You always want to play that before pushing that pawn. And here we have queenside castle, but now just f5. And this f5 is a beautiful, beautiful move in black's position because you can see that if you capture, then the bishop jump after captures, you can just see that the bishop jumps in, knight can capture. It's a really beautiful move. And here we have g captures, and just going for h4, just trying and getting that knight to jump on that g5 square. And here just f4, just trying locking in the bishop, but you just trade, bishop captures, knight captures, and just immediately knight to g5. And here just h6, pushing the knight back, though it's a good move by black if you see from the engine's perspective. But when Magnus saw this h6 move, he was very annoyed, not because I think he thought it was a bad move for black. And here just knight to f3, but just going for this bishop to f6, and here just h5, we have rook to g8, and you can see that even this becomes a possibility in the future. And here in this position, you have to be very much careful. You could go for rook to h1 because your bishop isn't developed yet, so you don't want to make any trades. Bishop to g4, but just bishop to e2, and we have bishop to d7. But here in this position, you could also go for bishop to back to f1, just trying to remaneuver the bishop and making those trades, because if you're able to get the rooks doubled on the g file, it would be very much good for you. But after queen to c8, you'll see a move like king to b1, nice prophylactic move, always useful. a4, because that makes a very nice square for the knight to jump to, and we have bishop to e2, but now going for rook to g2, just infiltrating a white's camp. And after rook d to g1, now you play this queen to g8, and here knight to b5, just targeting that pawn, so you have to defend. And here you would get this position, which is a bit better for black. So that's why Magnus went for this bishop to e2 right away. But here just queen to e7, and here after rook captures, and here just h4, just trying to not allow the knight to jump, and not allow that a4 and knight to jump, so immediately just opening that file and trying to use it for attacking purposes. We have a captures, and just knight to a6, attacking that pawn. And here in this position is queen to b2, just defending that pawn. But now just bishop to g4, rook to h1, and here just an immediate c5, just not letting Magnus to rest, and asking Magnus, what are you going to do if you push that pawn? Then the knight jumps in. What are you going to do? How are you going to deflect that knight? Here just b5, not worrying about this knight to b4, and here just king to d2. And now you can see that queen to e7. You could also go for a move like this, trying and doubling up on this side and making some threats, but it's going to be very much difficult. Here knight to a2, just trading those pieces, but a very beautiful move by Hikaru in this position, which is this bishop to d8. The idea being that if you capture this, he's just going to push it here, and you won't be able to recapture because of this pin. You won't be able to move the knight because of the pin. And here just going for this knight captures on b7 nonetheless, but here just bishop to a5, and here just king to d3. Although you could avoid, you could get that check, it's not an issue. If you go for queen to a1, just bishop captures on b4 with the check, king moves, and here just b6, just trying to solidify, but just rook to h4. And here after queen to f6, now you play rook to h1, bishop to a5, but now not letting the queen to infiltrate. Here rook to g1, but now you get this bishop caps on h5, just giving up a pawn temporarily, because if you get rook captures, king captures, queen to h1, attacking the bishop, you play bishop to g4. But now in this position, you go for this queen to g1, just trying to pin that piece, so you have to defend. So here queen to g6, but here just queen to h5, and here king to f7, knight to h4, attacking the queen. And here you could go for a very crazy line here, which is f3, just giving up the queen temporarily only. Knight captures, and here you go for this f captures, and here after queen captures on h6, it looks like you're getting mated, but not really, because here e1 queen. You can see that every move is forced here because this would be checkmate, so you have to be careful. So after knight to h8 check, king moves, queen to g6 check, and here after king moves, queen captures on d6 with a check, and here after bishop blocks, queen to b8 check, knight to c, bishop to c8, queen to d6, and here after going back and forth, you could try this, but then again, king to e7, queen captures. If you go for queen captures, then you can see that this is mate, so you have to be careful about that. So what you have to do is just give this check, and only now wherever the king moves, the position will still be a draw. So that was a crazy line here, but king to d3, uh, a good move. You don't want to allow this a natural move here. Bishop captures on b4, but now just queen to a1. Just going for the same move order, but just going for the same moves, but in a different order. A king to h7, but now here just going for king to c2, and we have b6. But now in this position, Magnus made a horrendous mistake that he's definitely going to regret, because in this position, everything is fine. You don't have to do the much. You can maybe get the rook in. You maybe give up the pawn, just trying and go for that trade and then infiltrate the position. But he immediately goes for infiltrating the position, and this just leads to a little bit of a tactic that Magnus missed, because this was absolutely unnecessary. He goes and Hikaru absolutely takes it because he was prepping it. He tries and goes for it. He goes for actually trapping Magnus's queen, because now it's going to be very much difficult. Magnus goes for king to d3, which is not the best move in the position. I will come back to the best move in this position, but the trapping of the queen is absolutely insane. So I'm just going to show you that first. Bishop to c8, attacking Magnus's queen. Queen to a8, bishop to b7, and here after queen to a7, just this is trapping Magnus's queen. And yes, that's happened on the board, but here there was a way to save it. So I'm just going to ask you to pause the video, try and find out the only move in this position which saves Magnus's queen and gives him a chance to play on. So yeah, have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. And this doesn't directly save Magnus's queen, but this saves the game because you have this rook to a1. And here after, if you go for bishop to c8, the same move order, you have queen to a8, bishop to b7, queen to a7, and after rook to a8, this is a draw because of the fact that you can have this rook captures, and after this captures, you have this captures. And queen to c7, but now you play knight to d2, queen to b8, rook to a1, and here after bishop to c8, rook to g1. You can see that you have around three pieces for the queen and maybe just a few pawns. That would be enough for this bishop, but the position is completely closed. It's going to be very much difficult, and if anyone is choosing anyone, I think black would be the favorable one. But you have to understand that with low time on the clock, this rook would be absolutely formidable, and you can understand that once the bishop jumps in on the light squares, it's going to be very much difficult for black to hold in this position. With less time on the clock, it's always better to have more pieces than the queen, because then you can pre-move, and it's always better. But hey, Magnus missed all of this. He went for that, and his queen got trapped, so he went for queen captures. But here after bishop captures, knight to h4, and here just f3. But bishop captures on f3, and here just going for queen to f4. And it was on this move, on move 39, Magnus Carlsen resigned the game. Now the score is level, so let's see what happens in game 4. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with next game, so stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you all.